Hola, soy Jennifer Fajardo y estamos en un episodio más de Charlas en el Palacio. Hoy tenemos a un invitado muy especial. Él es músico y compositor, Michael Squillace. ¿Cómo estás?
Muy bien, gracias.
Bienvenido. ¿Quién es Michael Squillace?
I am a multiple woodwind player, flutes, clarinets, and saxophones. I'm also a composer, and an educator in multiple genres of music.
¿Cuándo y qué te llevó a iniciar tu carrera musical?
I started playing music when I was 12 years old. Um, of course, it wasn't professional at that point, but it quickly progressed. I started on saxophone, and was advised by my mentor at the time to switch to clarinet after a brief moment of him hearing me and hearing how good my ears were. And he's a very brilliant classical clarinetist, so I moved to studying very seriously classical clarinet as that is how I earned many of my awards in school, and received first chairs of the orchestras in New Jersey. And all the while I was also studying jazz saxophone after school. And after that, after I graduated, I started working with really a lot of really brilliant musicians in the scene, in New York and in New Jersey, and internationally. And I gained a lot of knowledge from them. The knowledge that you don't really get from the school, the schooling of it. And the business aspect of it is what you learn from actually doing the job of making music and getting paid for it. Yes.
Wow, una trayectoria que comenzó desde muy niño y cómo lo has llevado a lo largo de los años es muy interesante, Michael. ¿Tienes, más bien, cómo describirías, cómo nos contarías sobre tu estilo musical?
It's a difficult question because when you play multiple instruments, you are kind of you kind of need to have a little bit of each genre on each instrument. For example, on flute, you can have a range from baroque to jazz, and they're equally important depending on what gig you get called for.
Claro.
So that, in my opinion, the same goes for saxophone too. You should be able to play some classical music, but you also should be able to play some jazz music. So, and the same for clarinet. You don't have to be a virtuoso, but you should be able to do a little bit of each. If you want to be able to make some money in the business, my style, I blend. I like to blend the classical and the jazz. For example, I really appreciated playing and studying and playing the Phil Woods Sonata. Actually performed it here last year, which is a blend of jazz and classical music. I think Phil Woods did a brilliant job of mixing classical and jazz together. I also tried to do a similar thing without knowing it with my own piece that I played as well. But I think I blend them. It depends on the situation also. If I get hired to play for somebody and they want only classical, of course, I'm just going to write classical. If they say my style, it really kind of becomes a funk blues. Depends. It really depends. But I like a well-rounded sound.
¿Y alguna vez has tenido que experimentar un estilo completamente diferente al tuyo? Y si sí, ¿cómo te sentiste con esa experiencia?
Yes, well, I've been really lucky to be able to travel around the world and experience different types of music. I worked with and work with composers and musicians in South Korea. And I was able to record an album with the jazz musicians there. And it was really interesting to see the different styles and just different interpretations of jazz. that they had with the music. Um, and the musicians are brilliant there, and it's just very unique in its own way. Even though we call it jazz, it's its own jazz. It's a really cool concept, and it's a beautiful thing. Also, recently I was able to perform in Belize, and I never experienced jazz and reggae together, and that
Wow.
was pretty cool. And it was lovely performing with the Belize Orchestra, the National Orchestra. Lovely musicians and great organization. And nationally in the U.S., it's you you'll find a different style of music across the country, to California to New York. Even though it's the same pop or jazz or whatever, it's still different because it's just you create the music from where you are from. So I think those are different things that you don't have to travel to a different country to experience somebody else's different world view, experience. And I think that's a beautiful thing. Here, I've experienced some wonderful musicians here. And like I said, the jazz is just different. You have a Latin vibe to it. It's different than the straight ahead jazz that you have in New York. And it's equally important, and it's equally beautiful, and it's fun. It's good. It makes me more well-rounded to work with people from that have different versions of everything. It's
Claro.
really a beautiful thing. I will never stop traveling for one, the good people I meet, and two, the great music I hear.
Por supuesto,
Yeah, yeah.
por supuesto. Michael, hemos escuchado la frase, la práctica hacia el maestro. ¿Tienes alguna rutina que sigas en tu práctica de todos los días? ¿Cuántos días practicas a la semana? ¿Cuántas horas? ¿Algo que nos puedas compartir?
Yeah, so yes, well, I think every musician has a ritual or a routine. I definitely do. I we'll go into without going into too much detail. I have a list of things I need to get through each day before I even touch my main piece of music that I need to play, or have an event or something like that. I need to go through these first. My warm up, my etudes and everything. So I tell everyone always to make a plan of what you have to do before you go and jump into your big piece of music that you might be working on. So yes, I have a routine literally every day. Every day for 4, 5, 6, depends how hours, depends what event I need to practice for, how
Wow.
difficult the music is, and how many instruments I need to play.
Claro.
But it's every day, multiple hours a day. And it starts with my little checklist of things, long tones, etudes, scales, just shaking off the dust from the yesterday, Um, yeah, it's very important to have a plan for me and for everyone, I think, should have that structure and then move forward with whatever you need to work on.
Claro, la organización es muy importante, incluso en la práctica de todos los días. Bueno, Michael, y como compositor, ¿te inspiras más en historias personales o historias ajenas?
So I um I use both because I mean we are a person of experience of others.
Sí, claro.
We're not just we came up with it ourselves. Just like music. You're influenced from music the day you wake up and you hear the day you're born and you hear Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. You have already been influenced by music.
Siempre.
So you can't say that you have not been experienced by uh, um, other musicians when you're a composer because it's just not possible. Whether you know it or not is another thing. I tend to. I mean, I listen to my favorite composers and artists all the time, every day. Whether I'm studying or whether I'm studying the music or I'm just listening just to get something in my head so I can get some sort of motivation or something. But it's a joint effort from the musicians in the past and the musicians now and everything in between. My experiences from the past. If I listen to someone's experience about music, I'll try to put that towards my music too. It's a blend of many things. There's no yes or no answers to this. I mean, the greatest composers had their influences from the prior greatest composers. It's how it goes. Whether they've said, many have said it, but yeah. I think like I said, the experiences are from the experiences from others, and so it's kind of like that's the beautiful connection of music. It's just passing the torch to another person that's done a little bit of what you've done, and you just keep moving forward.
Increíble. Y justo eso, hablando de la música y cómo los tiempos han cambiado, muchas personas se interesan en empezar una carrera musical, a lo mejor desde niños o en la adolescencia, incluso cuando ya son adultos, quieren comenzar una carrera musical. Sin importar la edad, ¿qué consejo le darías a esa persona que quiere comenzar una carrera en música?
I'd give this advice. A couple things. First, just don't give up. I know it's very easy and everyone says it, but it's really true. That's why everybody says it. Don't give up. Keep going and keep practicing. Keep going. Even if you don't have a gig or something, keep practicing. Because when someone calls you up for that gig that you thought you would not get, and all of a sudden you haven't been practicing, that's not good. So always practice, practice, practice. Like tomorrow is Carnegie Hall. Second is don't sell yourself short. Don't it's okay to set whether someone's paying you or whether no you want to go for experience for a gig or something or a job or whatever. Still look at the list and say, is this valuable to me, and are they valuing me? It doesn't matter how old you are. You could be a little kid or you can be an adult, or it doesn't matter. You're valuable, and don't let people take advantage of you. It's hard because those people that take advantage of people, they are good at it. But it's our job to be diligent and try to figure it out before it's it's too late. But just don't sell yourself short. You're worth a lot of money. You're worth a lot of love, and there's nothing in this world that people would. Everybody needs music. Everybody listens to music. So remember that when somebody says, you know, a number that you don't like or something,
Claro.
it's important. It's very important. Um, and those are two main things. And don't forget, the final thing I will say is uh, don't make sure you love what you're doing. You need to continue to love this music thing. And if it becomes becoming a business for you and it becomes too much of a job, and you hate that, then it's okay to find another job and make music just your passion. Doesn't make you not a musician. You are equally a musician just like anybody else. um it's something that took me a long time when I was growing up. I was like, I got to make money from this. I got to do that. No, yeah, I mean, that would be great, but that doesn't make you the musician. Then you're a musician. If you're creating music, you're a musician. Punto. That's it. So make sure you love what you're doing. And if you start to hate it, maybe, take a step back and find out what you hate about it. If it's the business aspect, then do something else, but don't stop music, you know.
Por supuesto.
So I think that's an important thing.
Pues ahora sí que es imposible ocultar lo que se hace con mucha pasión y te agradezco muchísimo que nos compartas tu experiencia. Gracias por compartir tu música. Gracias también por estar en el Palacio de la Música y pues te agradezco y te deseo toda la suerte del mundo, Michael. Muchísimas gracias.
Gracias a ti.
Renacimiento Maya, Gobierno del Estado 2024-2030.